Hello, this is Zealeus here from Alt Confusion. Charlie has given you his rundown of ConNooga 2017, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of ConNooga 2017. Now, when Charlie talked about his experience with ConNooga, he deals a lot more on the logistics ends of things. So in terms of dealing with the tickets or things like that, things that may or may not have worked out well, I can't really speak too much to that because that's not my personal purview. So kind of from my perspective, I kind of look at maybe, I guess, as a spectator, because that's kind of how I see it from the spectator end. Because I'm not really, I'm manning a booth, but I'm not really like in charge of getting all of that stuff together. So in Charlie, I trust when it comes to logistics because that's his thing. So anyways, ConNooga is a multi-fandom convention. It goes with anime, authors, comics, cosplay, British media, and gaming. We are part of the gaming track as Alt Confusion, of course. And so it's not specific to one fandom. Like you might get AWA, Anime Week in Atlanta, which is all about anime, or MomoCon, which started out as an anime convention, is still heavily influenced by anime, but has branched into other things. ConNooga is all about, hey, let's kind of cater to all of the fandoms. Now, whenever you get to convention, it's like, how do I find stuff? How do I know what is going on? And I know that's kind of maybe been a past issue with ConNooga. And as a table, so when I go there, I'm in charge kind of a table, the Alt Confusion table, so I don't really care too much about how to actually find panels and stuff because I'm not really going to panels. I'm just doing our own panel, the destruction of the game industry as we know it in video games today. But afterwards, after I heard some of what was going on with like, how do I know what's going on? There's no, paper schedules or whatnot. I decided to look at the iPhone app. And I must say that I was actually pretty impressed with the app. In terms of being able to find, your favorites, look at your tracks. You can favorite a artist, such as myself, John Duvall. And when you do that, now I see, hey, I'm in 2 panels. And I can see that very easily. So I like that. Another thing I liked about the app that you don't see in a lot of apps is I can view my itinerary and favorites straight from within the schedule. A lot of them you gotta go back to the main menu to see it and then go back into the scheduling app. So it's like a whole lot of extra clicks. So that was kind of nice. The web app is, I'm not a fan of the web app. Let's just put it that way. I took a look and I know that's what Charlie had looked at. And the website definitely left something to be a little bit desired. The daily schedule is basically a giant Excel spreadsheet that's basically exported, I think, as a PDF. So if you look at it from that perspective, yeah, I would definitely not use that to find out what is going on. But if you look at the app, I could easily find out what was going on. The one other thing I do like that conventions do that I didn't see at ConNooga, which was very possible was there, I didn't see it though because I wasn't wandering around too much, is you kind of have like giant boards with what the schedule is for that day, which makes it very easy for event goers to see like, aha, that's where it is. Because attendees aren't always the best about pulling up the app on their phone, or if there's a paper, schedule floating around. Sometimes have that giant list right there does kind of help out attendees. As far as our experience at Alt Confusion, I think we had a great experience as far as the exposing our product because we definitely had a good location. Last year, our location was like off in the corner somewhere. Day 2, we were the only table on our aisle. And I gotta admit, that definitely caused an issue last year because we just maybe felt a little bit neglected. There was no attendees where we were. And this year, we definitely had a great spot. We're right on a corner. There's always people flowing by us. And Friday alone, we had more fan interaction than did probably all of ConNooga last year of 2016. So mad props to that. That was very nice. And consequently, our panels were also pretty good populated when we look at how our populations usually go. So it's definitely great to have that attendance in our panels, which I'm very excited about. The one catch with the panels I ran into is both times there was some confusion about who should have been in our panel room. Friday night was another person thought they were supposed to be in our room, or we thought we were supposed to be in the room, and I don't know if it's because we didn't look at the schedule right or what happened there. So whatever, life went on. We moved to the next room. And the second night, we were scheduled from 6 o'clock to 7:30, and then there was another one scheduled from 7 till 8. It still says it on the app. And for me, I did high school and grade school scheduling for 8 years. So for me, when it comes to scheduling, that's something that I am very nitpicky about. That's something I really kind of zone in on, is that scheduling when I actually look at it. Friday, I didn't even look at it, but Saturday when I was looking at it, I was like, something here is not right. So for me personally, when it comes to scheduling, that's one of those things that when I'm going to look at it, I'm really going to notice, and that's going to kind of be like, that should be caught. But as far as, you know, the ConNooga experience goes, we definitely had a great time. Everybody who came to our table, who we talked to and asked how they're doing, it sounded like they're having a great time. So if all of the attendees at our table had a great time, obviously ConNooga is doing something right. You know, attendees are usually pretty open about how they feel, and they're like, I don't know, man, this is kind of lame. They're going to say it. And we didn't have anybody be like, man, this is a lame convention. No, everybody said it was a good convention who came by our table, and that's a great thing. That's what I love to hear when we're at conventions. The other thing we saw, I don't have a good reason for this, is we had a number of people at our table who, they were there for an extended period of time. I mean, we had people who were there for 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour just, you know, chit-chatting with us about video games. We don't get that. And maybe it's because ConNooga's more chilled and laid back, and you don't have people just kind of shoving people out of the way. You know, go to some other conventions and it's so jam-packed in the vendor hall where you kind of have to move, or you're going to lose or you're just going to be pushed out of the way, basically. So that was kind of nice to have people kind of chill there. But on the converse side, the other side, if I'm looking as a vendor who's trying to sell stuff, if I'm trying to sell comics or books or whatever I'm trying to sell, I like talking to my fan base, but at the same time, I also want the flow of traffic to be in such a way where I'm getting new sales on a regular basis. So for us at the Ultimate Confusion table, that flow of the convention hall was perfect for what our table is trying to accomplish. For the other vendors who are actually, you know, trying to sell and make the money, make their living, I don't know. I can't speak to them because that's not the world I live in. I'm a terrible salesperson, so I'm glad we don't do that because it's probably not go well because I wouldn't actually sell anything. I'm like, hey, you like a product? No? Well, that's terrible. But overall, I had a great experience at ConNooga. I enjoyed it. And if you're in the Tennessee area and you're checking out a general geeky nerddom fandom convention, I would check it out. You know, you're not going to find it catered towards one specific thing. You know, we had us who we had the video game track. There was panels there about anime, and you know, you had your normal anime booth set up where you could buy that stuff. You had the whole British track, where we had the lady who's been there for the last couple of years who dressed up as Missy. I saw her leaving on Sunday, and she's in the elevator all dressed up, and she even had the cup of tea. It was very impressive. So it's kind of the other fun part. You kind of start to see some of the same people, which again, people coming back year to year, you know, they're probably doing something right. So I enjoyed ConNooga, and you know, there's always things that, not just conventions, but video games and books can always improve on. And in this case, I think the thing that we saw to confusion about ConNooga was the scheduling part. Especially kind of that overlap in terms of how some of those rooms are booked, there is definitely overlap. I mean, you can still go on the app now and see it. But in the grand scheme of things, I found it to be a small critique. And then once we got past that, you know, initial whole thing that happened with Charlie trying to get his tickets, for me at least, it was smooth sailing after that. It all went well. So I enjoyed it. I think other people enjoyed the ConNooga experience, or at least I hope I did, the people I did. So that is my ConNooga 2017 experience, and I really do hope we are back next year because I enjoyed the nice little 2-hour drive up to Chattanooga and then checking out the choo-choo. Although the rumor is that the choo-choo may not be used next year because the dude's selling stuff, so who knows? You know, that's part of the experience. Oh, that does remind me, sorry, one other thing that I liked is that they did move the gaming stuff from the choo-choo to the convention hall, which meant it was a little bit more condensed. You didn't have, you know, these populations split in two. A couple of years ago, a buddy of mine was at ConNooga. I didn't even know it until afterwards because he was playing Pathfinder the entire time at the choo-choo. Whereas this year, if you're playing Pathfinder or whatever your game of choice was, you would also be at the convention hall, which to me was a good call. I think that's definitely Charlie and I think legitimately had a gripe about in previous years, is kind of that split. Whereas I think bringing those together, I think that's a good call. We like that choice. And hopefully that continues to happen. It just makes life a little bit easier. And I'm hoping next year, maybe I can get to check out the gaming hall a little bit more than we did this year. But again, if our table is busy and we can't make it to the gaming hall, that's also a good thing because we want our table to have people at it talking to us about video games. That's why we're there, to talk about video games. which usually delve into other fun, geeky, nerdy things anyways. So that is Zealeus talking about ConNooga 2017. Good times.